Hey, welcome back, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a grand weekend. We're going to start the week off fresh with a pea and ham soup that we were supposed to do last week, but we're going to do it today. And we're also going to finish it off with some handmade little tiny wontons as well, which we're going to fry off and fill with cream, cheese, and chive. Very simple, very straightforward kind of dish to do today, but something a little bit different. But hope you're all going to enjoy it. It's good to have you here. You guys call them pork hocks, but these are actually smoked pork hocks, so they're good to go. We're going to take them apart. It's got a little bone in, which is perfect, so we want to cook these down until they're kind of like falling apart and the meat's like nice and tender. So we're going to open this packet up, but before we do that, we're actually going to start getting the mirepoix ready. So I'm actually going to use just I kind of forgot to buy celery. That's one thing I did want a little bit in there, but that's fine. That's okay. We're going to use onions, some garlic, and a little bit of thyme. Okay, so stop and tail our cheeky little onions. And what we're going to do, cut it straight in half. So do the same on this one as well. Let's get these cut down. So if you ever want to know how to cut an onion nice and fine, so we're going to cut it down, keeping the root intact. So keeping them kind of like about a finger width there, intact. And we're just going to slice it vertically. Horizontally. There we go. We got the right way around. So we're going to cut that down, and obviously the more slices or lines you get into the onion, the more finer it's going to get from the end result. So as I said, I don't need this to be too fine. So we're going to cut down vertically, and obviously keeping that intact, and then just put it on the side. And I'm just going to slice that down using your middle finger for a little cheeky bit of guidance against the blade, so you don't cut yourself. Keeping all of the thumb and fingers tucked up behind. Right, so what we want to pick down is just a couple of leaves. Now, if you want to avoid having the stalks in your soup and trying to fish them out, just take the leaves off. That's all you really need to do. So you're not blending up thyme stalks and it's getting wrapped around your blender and damaging it, and then you're missing it. So just take the leaves off. It's much easier. Let's take the skins off these garlic cloves. I'm going to grate this down as well with my microplane over here. Plain and simple. Beautiful. So I'm just going to top and tail these little cheeky bad boys and just take the skin straight off. This is going to be for both the base and the stock, ready for our ham hocks. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a little chunk of onions out for the stock, and we can get them on. I'm going to start frying them off first, or sweating them off, sorry. And I'll pop probably like one garlic clove. So before I confuse you all, I've also got the base, and I've also got the stock ready for the ham hock. So we're going to cook those ham hocks down, and as long as they're not too salty from afterwards, the stock from it, we're going to use that in the soup as well. So you only want about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. Not going too crazy with it. There we go. Beautiful. And then we're going to add a good handful of these onions, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of thyme in here, just for our base for our ham hocks. Alrighty, so these are sweating down really nicely. I'm going to start adding the ham hocks very, very shortly once they're nice and soft, which they're almost there. So let's open up this packet. So this is going to be more of a smoky flavor, which is great, because I was kind of looking for a smoked ham hock, or pork hock if you want to call it that. And this is already cooked, but we're just going to cook it a bit further. We're not going to like cook it for hours and hours and hours. I mean, it will probably fall apart anyway, which is great. We're going to get that nice little smoky ham hock stock. This is what we're making right here and right now. So I think this is going to fall apart, but it's okay. Come on, we got ya. There we go. So there's one. There's two. And here comes number 3. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to top it up with water, and then we're just going to let that kind of simmer down really, really nicely. Basically until the meat is like pretty much falling apart. And we should be good to go. So roughly about you want, so that's about 500 ml, between a litre and 1,500 ml. Hey chef, ooh, is that lobster? It's a funny looking lobster. No, it's not lobster, buddy. Smoked pork hocks. For a ham hock or ham and pea soup, basically. Very, very small amount of carrot here, but it's left over, so I like using leftovers. Right, save yourself a little bit of money. So I'm going to try and peel these as best as we can. They're very thin, as you can see, but You kind of want to take the skins off, and you'd be like, well, why, chef? Why do you want to take these skins off? And the reason for it is skins can actually add a bitterness to your stock, which you don't really want, in my opinion, unless you want that bitterness in there. So I always peel them. Always, always, always. You give them a little mix. So we're going to cook this down pretty much until all that ham you can see there is pretty much flaking off. We've got ourselves a really nice stock here, flavored from the ham, that we can use for the pea and ham soup, so you can get even more flavor in there. Now, the only thing sometimes you do find, if you use like cured ham hocks, right, sometimes you might end up with a really salty stock, so please have a taste before you start adding it. Or what you could do is just add a little bit and then top it up with water if you wanted. So just be very careful when you're using a ham hock stock. Make sure you taste it, because sometimes they can be a little salty, so just be very, very careful with it when you're using it. So 250 grams, something along those lines. That's what we wanted. We also want 1 egg, about 1 or 2 pinches of salt, and also a little touch of oil as well. Don't want to go too crazy. Okay, I'm going to go for like 10 grams or 10 mils of oil as well. So just a pinch of salt. Just crack that open. Right, so let's mix this egg through, making sure it's all mixed in very nicely. Give that a nice little mix up. A little touch of water, little by little. Don't go too crazy or too ham. I know we're making ham hock. There was no puns, I promise. But don't go too ham with it, and just add little by little until it's pretty much bound together. So what we're going to do now is give this a really nice knead, so we can stretch the gluten and get a nice little smooth dough ready. And once we've done that, I'm going to start getting the filling ready, and then we can come back to this, and then we can start rolling it out very nice. Right, so let's give this a knead. So about 5 minutes is what you're going to need. You're not going to want to overwork it. If you end up overworking it, you'll end up with a tough kind of dough. So super important to make sure you don't spend like half an hour or something like that. Ridiculous. But 5-10 minutes be absolutely fine. I would say that was on average. Okay, so there we go. Whoops. We're going to cling film this up very nicely. It's not going to proof. We're just going to cling it over just so it doesn't like skin over while I'm making the filling. Don't need to wrap it too tight or anything like that. So, right, let's dice this down very nicely. Right, so carefully just dice these down very nice and fine. Watch your fingers. Make sure your fingers are intact and not under the knife blade. Otherwise, you're going to soon know about it. It does hurt when you kind of cut yourself. I'm not going to use all of this, or am I? No, I'm going to leave about a third left, so that should be fine. So if we need it for anything else, you know, maybe some cheeky bagels or something like that. I'm going to give this a little mix, a little touch of salt and pepper in there. Just working that away so it's a nice little bit more pliable, so that's fine. So gonna go for 2 rashers. That'll do. We'll keep the rest for not tomorrow, for Wednesday, sorry. Alrighty, so I'm gonna dice this up into nice little cheeky lardons. We flick over. So it's nice and hot. So I'm gonna drop these in, just flake them in. Not bundled up too much. There we go. Start cooking that bacon down very nicely. Can put that in the wash. It's almost there. Almost there. So there's our little cheeky bacon. Crispy, delicious, nommy. So we made a cream cheese and chive filling. I'm going to add it to that. I was going to use the ham, but those ham hocks are going to take a little bit of time, so I don't want to hang about, and I want to make the wontons next. So, so we cooked off some smoky little crispy bacon to mix in, so actually add a nice little complement to it. And the ham hocks, or the pork hocks, are smoky anyway, so which is great. So we're making a stock out of it, so we're going to use the juice. We're going to add some peas to it. So that's had a nice little rest, and look at that. Look at that beautiful dough we worked. Super nice, super soft. It's looking fantastic, so that's pretty much good to go. Do that little cheeky mix up. So Probably going to get about, I would say about 10. Probably going to get about 5 out of each. Maybe a little bit more, possibly 12. We'll see. Right, so 7. So we're going to get 14 then. Okay, there we go. Not too much on the flour. You want like a little smidge in there. So let me just set that aside. Just so it doesn't stick. I mean, it's not that sticky, the dough, but brush for my egg wash, and then just a little teaspoon for our filling. So these are going to be looking a little bit like pierogies, but they're not going to be pierogies. So if I can actually remember how to, oh yeah, I do actually remember. So, but I do want to fry these. So, there we go, ready to fry. So I'm going to use some peanut oil. If you want to use vegetable oil or whatever you want, that's fine. I'm just going to use peanut oil for this. Not going too crazy. Alrighty, so the ham hocks are looking great, and these will tear down very nicely. It's just the we're going to get the meat off here. Yeah. So on a medium heat, sorry, we're going to add a tablespoon of oil. Vegetable oil, canola, whichever you prefer. The oil's in the pan, and we're going to add our onions, garlic, and thyme that we had left over from this morning. So those are going to start sauteing off, cooking them down really nicely. If they start caramelizing, perfect, that's fine. And then we're going to pull them off the heat. And then we're going to set that aside for our base, and then we're going to start adding the peas, the picked ham hock, and then we're going to add the stock that's right in front of you right here. Right, we should be all right now, so we're going to drop the first one in. Where is my little... I had a large spoon, didn't I? Or a slotted spoon. Oh, here it is, actually. Perfect. Beautiful. So some nice, crispy. It's got a nice little cream cheese and chive filling in there with the bacon. So absolutely delightful. So anyway, let's pick this down very nicely. What we're going to do is add the meat in there. Perfect. What we're going to do, add the peas straight in. And then we're going to use that stock that's in front of us, right? That beautiful ham hock. Now I've tasted it. It's not salty. It's actually perfectly seasoned. So we're going to use that. And then we're going to blend the soup down very nicely. So I'm going to top this up. So I don't want to make it too thick or too thin. So I feel like that's going to be enough liquid in there. If it's a little thick, I've got a little bit more liquid left in there. So that's fine. Okay, so sometimes this doesn't stay down like nice and tight. I don't know if it's like maybe loose. I'm just going to put a little cloth around that edge, and then we're just going to blend it, okay? So brace yourselves. I told you. Well, all I can say is it wasn't on tight. Maybe it's not on tight. Oh, that's hilarious. Beautiful. Hey, we still made an amazing soup though. Even though after got peed all over. Oh, I love it. It's great. Just a little bit in the middle, just to finish it off. There we go. There we go. I'm not gonna lie, so good with a pea and ham soup. Goodness me. Thank you so much for today. I appreciate all the love and support. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'll be back tomorrow 10 a.m. Mountain Time with those macarons and cookies. Great. Guys and gals, have a great rest of the day. Much loves. Bye for now.